stories I've been told by my parents and my grandparents, my brothers, about what happened in this estuary was the gathering of foods at any given time.
When the tide's out, the table's set. And then that was the natives. They were all, I used to see them out there, digging clams with them. You know, get a bucket of clam, go home, cook them. Well, you can't do that anymore. There's no oysters, they're all gone. There used to be 7 oyster farms around this neighborhood. Now there's none. Hasn't been since the mill came in. Yeah. And it started production in 1958. And it's been working ever since.
When they built it, and my grandfather was still with us and he was negotiating a deal. He wanted to remove, because that was our original village site, moved us out of there to where we are. So he told them that give us the opportunity to remove some of our ancient bones. He knew where the barrels were. They didn't care. They just built over it.
When they were renovating the pulp mill in the early 80s, they unearthed quite a few remains. One was under a helicopter pad, and there was other areas in the pulp mill that they were working on. They did find remains. So, you know, that tells us that's our territory, our site, historically. So pre-contact, that was probably one of our village sites because of the way, where it is.
The community's use and enjoyment of their own village has been highly intruded upon. You have the Crofton Mill itself, which has unfortunately cemented right over sacred burial sites of the Halalt Coast Salish peoples. It has totally destroyed the estuary and traditional food systems for Halalt, has inundated the airshed with all kinds of toxic pollutants that will probably have long-lasting and unpredictable effects on the health of the Halalt people and other local communities.
Halalt has taken pulp mill to court because of it's not that we're not against what they're doing and what they have a lot of people working for them, but it's what they're distributing into our rivers, into our air and all those things.
The carcinogens end up in the phytoplankton. The plankton feed the other animals, and at the end of the day it ends up being in the food chain. So it does, and it accumulates faster probably in the birds than it does in us. So, but dioxin-furans, we're not allowed to eat crabs out here anymore because of the dioxin-furan levels. This is all closed to commercial industry.
The estuary is totally destroyed, but it's just a disaster area now. How the hell are you going to live off the land when there's nothing there? The family's been on this property since 1873. And when I was a young fella, just after I built this house here, I got in the beef cow business, you know. I had 60 head of cattle here, and at its best, and then the calves all started dying, and we've traced it to being wastewater from the mill. If the cows don't live on a farm, you don't make much money.
Growing up with teachings that my grandfather gave me, he says, please, just take what you need. Don't wipe out the population of your food chain. So when I think about it, I look, yeah, and that's not us that's doing that. That's all the pollution that we have. The younger generation needs to hear what it was like yesterday so they can build it a better tomorrow.
Well, our traditional territory runs from, say, Maple Mountain up into Copper Canyon and up in Highway 18. So, fairly big area, our core territory. But our traditional territory runs into the Fraser and up into Campbell River.
I was born on the other part of it 84 years ago. I can remember this place for 80 years, vividly. So I mean, I know there was fish in the creek, there was birds in it was beautiful, eh?
the permits that are given by the federal fisheries, the provincial fisheries, the environment have to be relooked at because of the no net loss policy in the Federal Fisheries Act. You know, there's a whole loss out here. The two pilings you see there, those are the outflows from the pulp mill. So now you have a huge dead zone with no oxygen levels in this territory, in that area. So baby fish coming out of the creek at the end of this knoll here go out there, and their first breath in the ocean is a zone with no oxygen levels. They're you know, destroying our way of life in regards to, you know, for the almighty dollar.
You can't just go in and change everything, I realize that, but you're going to have to start changing something before there's nothing left.
The feds have a responsibility, and they're giving them permits to pollute that ocean, not to our standards, to their standards. Our elders are passing away waiting for some kind of recognition of what's ours. We're a non-treaty band. You know, we've never extinguished any of our rights and titles.